So Earth, the only thing is, Earth is, if you're looking at an astrology chart, it's just like looking at the AE map with the little things I used to doodle. Remember the charts I used to doodle over the AE map?
Right.
When I would do the symbols? That's what you're looking at. You're on Earth, and those luminaries are above you. So that's kind of what you're looking at when you look at a chart. You're just looking at the AE map. It's set for latitude and longitude, and those are the luminaries that were in the sky from the east to the west. And then the ones on the bottom of your chart.
Obvious that the geocentric flat Earth with the wandering stars is what astrology is all about. And so how do these heliocentric astrologers think like Earth is the third planet? So in their aspects and everything, you go from Mercury to Venus, and then don't worry about Earth. That's just where we live. You know, it has nothing to do with anything. And then Mars, and like what?
They actually have. Yeah, they have a heliocentric astrology. Yeah, they have heliocentric astrology, and if you go on astro.com, you can pick heliocentric astrology. No one ever uses heliocentric astrology. It's literally a joke. Like, no one ever uses that because it doesn't tell you anything about yourself. It doesn't. And, people want to know about themselves. That's what astrology is for, to know about themselves, to know about other people. That's basically what everyone's using it for. So these heliocentric astrologers, they sit back like, in their robes with their cigars, and they're, on the stock market, I'm using this today, Earth's babbity-ba with the Saturn, and my helios, when will the other geocentric astrologers wake up? But there's just this tiny little handful of people that do that, and the reason it doesn't catch on is obviously no one cares about that just pseudo intellectual bullshit where you're sitting there. No one uses heliocentric astrology. It doesn't tell you anything about yourself. What you like, everything's different. The moon's not in the right sign. There is no ascendant, because the ascendant is where the sun appears to ascend in a chart. So that's what they're drawing it for on that chart when you're looking at it. The ascendant. So for you, the ascendant, when you came to Earth, was in late Gemini, right? Yeah, late Gemini. So that's the sign that was on the east when you came out. That's what it represents, the actual observable sky. Mm-hmm. It fits with flat Earth perfectly. That's the beauty of it. And the AE map.
So they just take that out in heliocentric astrology because it doesn't fit with their cosmology.
Yeah. Every one of those guys and women's are using geocentric astrology, and then in their readings they will throw in ridiculous NASA stuff. Uranus spins sideways, so that's why it's the planet of uniqueness, because out of all the planets, Uranus is the only one. And just that all day. So that's what I started doing too in astrology right away when I realized the Earth was flat, and I was doing stationary Earth astrology, which is the only thing that's going to fit, and it's the only thing that does fit. So that was another ding ding for me. So then I started telling all the professional astrologers, which I did know quite a few because I was astrology dedicated. So all over Facebook, immediately I was there. Eric Dubé. Have you guys seen this? Eric Dubé, you have to see this. And because I picked up on it so fast, and I was so dedicated when I heard Flat Earth, and I actually listened when I get in that mood, there's just no stopping me. So I know I hear some people talk about it took me a few years or whatever. Not me. I just immediately funneled straight into it, and then I realized I'm a Flat Earth astrologer. So I was right there with you. I'm like, Eric, yes, we got this. Everyone is gonna know that Flat Earth astrology is the way. And so I started telling all these professional astrologers, and none of them still to this day. Like, I sometimes go back and just test it out. I'll go to their chat and say something witty, and then the comments go crazy. Oh no, the Flat Earthers are here. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. One day. Yeah, it's a slow go for the astrology thing, but there are handfuls of them now. And sometimes I go to the astrology chats with Robert Phoenix and David Leo King, just really big names where they have, hundreds of people in the chat. And then I'll just leave my flat earth comments, you know, kind of like, what do you guys think about flat earth? Isn't this geocentric astrology? And see what happens. And once in a while, somebody just the other day said, put a bullseye, tagged me and said, yes, Mary, bullseye. I was like, yeah, bro. 1 out of 300. Yeah. We're getting there. We'll get there slowly but surely. Yeah, when you get people's sense of humor and you kind of get, you know, their whole vibe. I love that. I love it. I feel like I'm in a secret land of, you know, this invisible realm that nobody sees with my astrology all the time.
Right.
So I know I babble on about, that's like all I talk about. I'm obsessed. I'm dedicated. I know. But yeah, it's fun. I see everything differently.
It's like knowing a whole nother language that only a few people still speak, like an ancient dialect.
Yes. Exactly.
It develops that way too. You have to slowly learn astrology over time by communicating with other people, by learning their chart and seeing how they act in the world, and then watching it play out. It's not something you can just learn from a book all at once, because you have to see it in the people that you know, and you have to experience it in real time. Otherwise, it's just intellectual activity. There's no, because that's the main thing that people say with astrology, is that it's, you know, it's like bullshit or whatever, and there's no way to prove that it's not bullshit. Well, the way to prove that it's not bullshit is that you study it intellectually so you know what they're saying. Then you use it in your life on the people you know to see if what they say works on these people. And if you find over and over and over again that it does, then that's called science.
Yeah, exactly.
But most people don't want to admit that the scientific method can be and is used for astrology. You know, it's
I'm
just
so glad you say that. Like,
people don't want to do it.
Say that. So good. Virgo said it. Haha. Pisces, it's Virgo. No, it's true. That's what I did.
That seems to be the barrier that astrology is at right now, is that the intellectual people refuse to acknowledge it as a thing, because and so they won't find out that it is a thing. Similar to flat earth or something. If you just say upright, no, flat earth is ridiculous, there's no way you'll ever find out that flat earth is real. If you just say astrology is ridiculous because, you know, that's what I heard and the horoscopes read that way, then that's where the end of your education will be.
So you can then use that basics and look at a chart and start telling people about the things in the chart, and they're going to be, how did you know that? What, you know, that's exactly me. How did you even know? And so you can still do it that way, where it's just the logical, like you have the formulas and you know the data, but you haven't experienced that 100 times yet. You know, you don't. But then that starts to gain on you eventually, and you can't go back. Like, there's just no going back. So many people have tried to convince me that astrology isn't real, and it's the impossible mission, because I just sit back and sort of giggle. But it's just like, you're just naturally good at communicating, you're naturally good at writing, you're naturally good at psychology, philosophy, all of the things that you've talked about so far. That's all in your chart. That's all astrology is. It's really, you can do it backwards by just watching people and going, oh, look at his Virgo. I looked at the IFRS thread the other day, and somebody said that. I don't know if they cheated, but they said that in the comments like a year ago. I haven't typed there in so long. But someone said, Eric seems like Virgo with Libra or Scorpio or something. I don't know if they cheated, but I was like, doesn't he though? You know, I didn't say anything, but it's so obvious. It's just so obvious, especially for me, because it's my exact opposite. I keep telling you that. Like, I'm Pisces sun opposite to Virgo sun, and then I'm Scorpio moon opposite to Taurus moon.
Oh wow.
So I'm actually your opposite sun and your opposite moon. A double dose of polarizing. So it's super easy for me to notice Virgos. I'm always noticing them in chats. Even in chats, people will be typing and I see it just comes to me. And that's what I wanted to say too. When I was 16 and I had the acid trip, and then I sat down and read Linda Goodman's love signs front to back. I was already an observant person who asked everyone's birthday, and so I immediately could play every sign that I read. I was like, oh, that's this person, this person, this person, this person. Then the next sign, oh, that's all these people. So it was just coming to me, and it was just these, and I'm like, holy astrology is real. And, we can actually, immediately it came to me, that means we have the power to make people like have our babies a certain way. So for you, for example, you have Mars and Scorpio at home. So it's in a Mars ruled sign. So sometimes you might seem like a Scorpio just because you have this intense, passionate Scorpio, Marsy, where Aries is the outer expression of Mars, Scorpio is the inner. So you have that sort of, like you said, people will be like, why are you so calm? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm just fucking burning right now. It's this inner, it's the yin, it's the water yin Mars. And then Aries is the outer fire one. So what I have is it's exactly Moon Scorpio, exactly in conjunct Venus Aries. So I have the yin Mars and then the yang Mars exactly in a hard aspect together. So that when you do a chart, if you look at somebody's strongest aspect, that's what's playing out all day. Your strongest one is Moon Taurus, exactly in conjunct Venus Libra. And those are both Venus ruled signs about beauty and communication skills and diplomatic communication skills. And so where Taurus is the physical body, the physical plane part of Venus, Libra is the mind and the love of intellectual anything. So together they're called an inconjunct, and they don't really get along. One's an air and one's an earth, so they're always sort of bugging each other, where the physical, so you'll see those kind of people like you being in physical things like dance or theater or something, but also in the intellect somehow. So maybe writing books about that, writing books about mental health, or like just sort of philosophy, or just creative Venus-y things. So think Venus, and you have both of these Venus signs, but they're kind of fighting, but they're not, they get each other, but they don't, and they just cause a lot of action. So out of anyone that had that aspect, I would say they could be an author, like creative writing, a teacher of something to do with the mind, just really making you question your mind, because that's always going on for you. So that's your strongest angle. So every single day, your strongest aspect is every day. You wake up with that shit every single day. It's just when you came out of your mom, that shit was in the sky for you. And that is, you're going to carry that forever.